supporters also, of course, are now gathered near Gate 5, most likely looking at the runway where the plane would probably pass by in this area. Tony?
Yeah, we'll keep you on cam for a while, Jackie, because I'm just trying to get more updates now from some of our other sources. We're also monitoring the activities there at the Villamor Air Base. From what I'm hearing now, Jackie, and I don't know whether or not some of the Duterte supporters there are also updated, it seems that the Gulfstream 550 chartered plane, which is carrying former President Duterte, is now taxiing towards runway 06 at the Villamor, at the NAIA, not Villamor Air Base, at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. And that means that the plane is actually cleared by the tower for takeoff tonight. So it's very possible now that at any moment, Jackie, we will see this chartered jet taking off from NAIA in just a few moments from now. And from the information that we did get earlier, this flight will actually make a stop at Dubai, possibly just to refuel, and it will continue on to its final destination in Rotterdam, in the Netherlands, which is just about 10 kilometers
From
away
Brown.
from The Hague, which is the location of the International Criminal Court. And of course, from the information that we got, flying time considered, this charter jet will be able to land in Dubai at an estimated time of arrival would be at 10:20 a.m. Dubai time, and that would be 5:20 a.m. Wednesday morning Manila time. So there will be, maybe just a few hours from now that we'd expect this flight to touch down in Dubai for refueling. And still, of course, there will be some speculation as to whether the former president will be immediately brought to a detention cell or a holding cell in the International Criminal Court. We've seen some pictures of what some detention cells look like at the ICC. Very Spartan accommodations, but still looking very decent, very comfortable. And we don't know whether or not the former president will be given any special consideration in terms of accommodation. What we're showing right now, at least for viewers who are still tuned in, was footage, cell phone footage, taken earlier by one of the close associates of former President Duterte. This is from retired Police General Fillmore Escobar, taking video of this Gulfstream 550 as it's still waiting on the tarmac there in Villamor Air Base. Earlier tonight, the former President Duterte was actually taken on board this flight, accompanied by his former Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea, a nurse and a personal assistant, and several police escorts. Now we've been waiting for hours, of course, to see whether any movement will take place of this plane. My own source telling me now that the chartered jet is already in front of Tower 1, has been cleared for takeoff, and we'll probably hear again, maybe just a few moments later, whether or not this flight is already airborne. So we've been waiting the whole day. For those of you who've actually been tuned in to our special broadcast since early this morning, when the former president arrived from Hong Kong and was immediately served an Interpol arrest warrant, we've been waiting the whole day to find out whether
Bye-bye, Duterte.
will indeed be flown immediately today to The Hague to be brought to the International Criminal Court, or whether there will be a chance for his lawyers to actually seek a temporary restraining order from the Supreme Court and possibly block his transfer to The Hague. So right now, waiting still for new footage or new video from the airport, Ninoy Aquino International Airport, as we look at the earlier video that was taken by one of the former president's close associates, former Police General Fillmore Escobar, off the Gulfstream 550 as it was taxiing away from the
Ayan na,
Villamor Air
palipad
Base,
na.
proceeding towards runway 06 of the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Earlier, Jackie Pascual, who is still standing by there outside the Villamor Air Base, is saying that some of the supporters of former President Duterte had run towards the gate and possibly saw some movement from the plane as it was taxiing towards
Yun na, lilipad na.
06. All right, so just a few minutes ago, we were told that the plane is already in front of Tower 1, and possibly just waiting for final clearance before it goes
Yan na.
airborne. Is Jackie Pascual still with us? Yeah. All right. So Jackie, as far as I can tell, the plane has already been cleared for takeoff. And
About to take
is
off
indeed
na. Yan
from
na.
your vantage point, you can actually see it if it's airborne or not.
Airborne.
Hi, Tony, from Aaron Stanley.
Bye-bye,
It's difficult
Duterte.
to see
Yes.
The planes and the runway, because of course in that area behind me there's so many people, so many supporters all gathered near the gate. What's
Bye-bye.
interesting to note is
Bring your
after-
garbage with you.
if they knew that the plane is actually leaving, what would be the reaction? What would be the reaction? Because earlier, just a few minutes ago, the speaker was just shouting that hindi pa umalis ang aeroplano, hindi pa umalis ang aeroplano, which means to say that the plane
Umalis na po. Ayun na.
they're still hoping that the plane
Jackie.
will not leave. But now that you mentioned that the
Yep.
plane is about to leave, then
Yep. Right.
we're waiting for the reaction.
Jackie, I'm going to have to interrupt you again. I'm sorry. But now we're receiving word from our source that the plane has indeed
Departed.
taken off. So right now, the Gulfstream 550 carrying former President Duterte is already
Airborne.
and presumably on its way now to Dubai for a layover before continuing to its final destination in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. So it is. We're waiting for official confirmation, of course, at least from the Philippine National Police or maybe from other officials of the government, that the plane carrying former President Duterte has indeed taken off now from the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Of course, we're still showing part of your screen, which is the podium of the president in Malacanang, where earlier tonight our colleague Pia Gutierrez was telling us that President Marcos Jr. is expected to make a public statement regarding the arrest of former President Duterte and his possible transfer now to the ICC in the Netherlands. So we're going to wait for that press conference, and of course Pia Gutierrez will be there to cover that. In the meantime, Jackie, of course, everybody there will have to probably just go home, because now it's clear that the plane has already taken off.
Win kayo, guys.
Yes, so for now, I think some of the supporters do not know yet that the plane has left, because right now a program is still happening here, and they're still giving speeches of showing support for the former president, and actually many supporters are adding. There's additional supporters coming in, so most likely some of them are not yet aware that the plane has already left. But for sure, we will be waiting here and checking their reaction once they knew that the plane had already left. Sorry.
Yeah, but don't give them that information, Jackie, because we're not getting any official confirmation yet. I mean, this is just from one of our sources, but of course we do trust this source. We will try to get official confirmation at least.
Yeah, it is airborne na,
the airport
Tony.
officials themselves, but maybe from the Philippine National Police and maybe
11:06.
in a few moments from now. We were waiting for the president to make a public statement, and now that the plane has reportedly taken off, we do expect that the president will face the Malacanang press corps in a few moments from now. In the meantime, Jackie Pascual, thank you very much for covering the developments there at the Villamar Air Base in Pasay City. Well, earlier today, the Philippine National Police was placed on heightened alert following the arrest of former President Duterte. Michael Deliso gives us an update now from the National Police Headquarters in Camp Crame. Michael?
Hi, Tony. Good evening. The Philippine National Police has placed all police regional offices and national support units on heightened alert amid rising political tensions following the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte over his controversial war on drugs. In a memo dated March 11, all uniformed personnel, particularly those engaged in police operations, were instructed to adopt proactive security measures and exercise heightened caution for possible enemy atrocities. The memo emphasized the need to address potential threats to national peace and order, warning
Guys,
of
uwi na kayo. Wala na
possible
presidente
disturbances, rallies, and mass actions stemming from the former president's arrest. Regional directors were tasked with immediately enhancing border control points and preparing civil disturbance management contingents, such as the Reactionary Standby Support Force and quick reaction teams to maintain public safety and ensure peace and order. In an earlier statement, the PNP said it is committed to assisting the lawful processes following the implementation of an Interpol notice. The PNP vowed that it will maintain peace and order, and in fulfilling this role, the organization said it will uphold its duty to enforce the law with professionalism and adherence to due processes. Back to you, Tony.
All right, thank you very much. Michael Delizo reporting there from the Philippine National Police Headquarters in Camp Crame. The Philippine lawmakers offered conflicting views on the arrest of ex-Philippine President Duterte. Several senators allied with the former president believe it can be potentially divisive, but some congressional leaders consider it a step toward justice. R.G. Cruz reports.
Philippine Senator Amy Marcos sees history repeating itself following the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte on Tuesday. The presidential sister says she is reminded of similar fates experienced by former presidents.
Awa ko sa tatay ko in 1986. Naawa din ako sa mga sunod-sunod na Pangulo, kay ERAP, kay GMA. Gulo lang ang dulot nito. Hindi na tayo natuto. Paulit-ulit na lang tayo. Kasi matanda na, di ba? Parang sa tatay ko, nung nangyari, ganun din, nakakaawa din.
Former President Joseph Estrada's sons also cite the possible polarizing effect of Duterte's arrest. Senator J.V. Ejercito says he is praying for the country, noting that divisions in the country is hindering the country's progress. Senate President Pro Tempore Jinggoy Estrada calls for sobriety as he urged the public to trust the justice system. Estrada hopes Duterte's rights will be respected and protected. He adds maintaining the nation's stability is crucial as the country navigates this challenging chapter in history. A day of reckoning is how Duterte critic Senator Risa Ontiveros sees Duterte's arrest. Ontiveros holds Duterte to his word that he is ready and willing to face the ICC. Ontiveros also wants the government to cooperate with the ICC and international police and let justice take its course. She believes it's just the beginning of accountability for everyone involved. House lawmakers also hailed the arrest, calling it a matter of justice and not political vendetta. House Senior Deputy Speaker Aurelio Dong Gonzalez says it's a decisive step towards justice, while Congressman Francisco Paulo Ortega V maintains the thousands who lost the bloody war on drugs deserve to be remembered. Progressive lawmakers see the arrest as a chance for Duterte to take responsibility and defend himself, an opportunity that was denied to the victims of the drug war.
Sana sa pagkaka-aresto kay dating Presidente Duterte ay talagang talagang idiretso na siya sa kung saan idinidetain yung mga may kaso ng crime against humanity. So kung saan yan sa ibang bansa ay dapat dali na siya doon diretso.
The House launched marathon investigations into the war on drugs last year. Duterte's arrest, meanwhile, drew the attention of the world's media, with major platforms covering the event. R.G. Cruz, ABS-CBN News.
Supporters of former Philippine President Duterte are holding a prayer vigil for him at his hometown of Davao City. Our correspondent, Ernel Tokmo, joins us on the line with more details. Ernel.
Yes, Tony, a candle lighting and a prayer vigil is still ongoing here at Rizal Park in Davao City, with over 1,000 supporters gathered to show solidarity with former President Rodrigo Duterte. Emotions were running high among Davaoeños watching the live feed as Duterte boarded a plane bound for the Netherlands. Moments earlier, supporters had erupted in cheers when the program host announced the release of a temporary restraining order. However, the mood shifted when Duterte was seen boarding the plane on the LED screen. Supporters expressed their messages and dismay over Duterte's arrest. The program is still ongoing, featuring performances and messages of support for the former president. And that's the latest here in Davao. Back to you, Tony.
Oh, thanks very much, Ernel. Rodrigo Duterte's children and his allies claim the former Philippine leader was wrongfully arrested and unlawfully treated. Katrina Domingo reports.
Illegal detention. This is how former President Rodrigo Duterte's camp described the slew of events that happened from his arrest in the Ninoy Aquino International Airport to his detention in the Villamor Air Base. While Miranda rights were read to the former president in the airbase, his camp insists that no proper warrant was presented when authorities tried to escort him out of his flight from Hong Kong.
That is the crime that I committed. So to me now, the legal basis for my being here, as apparently I was brought here not of my own volition. It's somebody else's. So you have to answer now for the deprivation of liberty. Have you read the case? At that time, ninyo made the arrest. So that you would be guided to what you should know.
News outlet Verifiles was able to obtain a copy of the warrant of arrest against the former president. The warrant showed ICC judges Julia Antoinella Motoc, Rain Adelaide Sophie Alapinigan-Su, and Maria del Socorro Flores Liera signed the document on March 7. Among those with Duterte was former Executive Secretary and lawyer Salvador Medialdea, who reminded officials that the International Criminal Court no longer has jurisdiction over the Philippines since the country formally pulled out as a member in 2019.
The Prosecutor General, you know how to exercise due process. Before you can even file charges, you have to file a complaint. We have to file a counter affidavit. Without doing those procedural process, here we are, being issued the warrant of arrest, questionable warrant of arrest. Hindi pa kayo ganito ginagawa natin. Sumusunod tayo sa isang entity na hindi na tayo member. Nag-withdraw na tayo.
In another video, Duterte's common law partner, Hanilet Avancenia, was seen trying to stop the former president from going with the police, warning that these officials are abusive and have no warrant. Elsewhere in Manila's main gateway, Duterte's supporters were seen crying after confirming that the former president has been arrested. These scenarios from Manila are a stark contrast to Duterte's pronouncements in Hong Kong.
Naging presidente ako. So sinong taguan ko? Police? Army? Sino? ICC? Tagal ko na naghintay niyan. As mayor pa ako. If they want to arrest me, I will go to them.
In an interview with SMNI before returning to Manila, the former president insisted that he is innocent. Meantime, the former president's children decried the treatment that their father received throughout the day. In a Facebook post, Davao City Mayor Sebastian Duterte claimed that authorities wanted their father to board a...
All right, we're cutting that report of Katrina Domingo and we're bringing you the president's announcement live from Malacanang. Let's listen in.
Rodrigo Roa Duterte took off at 11:03 p.m. this evening and exited Philippine airspace. The plane is en route to The Hague in the Netherlands, allowing the former president to face charges of crimes against humanity in relation to his bloody war on drugs. The former president was earlier placed in government custody at Villamor Air Base after his common law wife, Hanilet Avancenia, and members of his entourage arrived at 9:20 this morning from Hong Kong on Cathay Pacific flight number CX-907. Mr. Duterte was arrested in compliance with our commitments to Interpol. Hours before his arrival, Interpol Manila received an official copy of the ICC warrant. This prompted the Prosecutor General of the Department of Justice to serve the warrant. Interpol asked for help, and we obliged because we have commitments to the Interpol, which we have to fulfill. If we don't do that, they will no longer help us with other cases involving Filipino fugitives abroad. This is what the international community expects of us as the leader of a democratic country that is part of the community of nations. So I'm sure that the details that surround this what has happened today are familiar to you. I just wanted to make very, very clear and give you the facts from for the departure of former President Duterte from the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Kanina po ay nagpaabot ng tanong ang mga miyembro ng Malacanang Press Corps at atin po itong sasagutin. Question number 1. Mr. President, meron po bang pisikal na kopya ng warrant of arrest laban kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte mula sa ICC?
Oh, meron. This came in. Actually, it came in. I received it from Secretary Remulla. I received it at 3 a.m. last night, and I looked at it, and we went back and forth. 6:30, he wrote me again, and he said, "We have it already. We have the warrant of arrest from Interpol." And I said, "Okay, we'll put all our plans into place, and sige, let's proceed as we had discussed." Now that's what happened. So yes, there is a very clear document that will explain that will explain the basis on how we conducted this arrest of former President Duterte.
Sir, is it okay if we give them a copies of the arrest warrant? Photocopies of the arrest warrant? Would that be possible?
Do we have limitations on that?
We have the limitations, but we can.
We have here the SILG, who has been, of course, part and parcel of the entire operation.
We will provide the PCO with a digital copy. It has been attested by the Secretary of Justice and the Department of Justice as a lawful and legal warrant. We will publish it after this press conference, and you can use it as reference.
These are. It's very simple. It's a request to the Philippine government from Interpol to enforce the arrest warrant, and of course we comply with our commitments to Interpol. We did not do this because it was derived from or it came from ICC. We did this because Interpol asked us to do it, and we have commitments to them, and we lived up to those commitments.
Sir, thank you, sir. Second question, sir. Mr. President, sinasabi ng kampo ni PRRD na unlawful arrest daw itong ginawang pag-aresto sa kanya.
Well, we followed every single necessary procedure. We had a very good basis on which to serve that warrant and to read him his rights. We followed all the legal procedures that are necessary. So I'm confident that if in further examination, you will find that it is proper and correct.
Sir, third question from the MPC. Mr. President, may violation ba ito sa ating soberanya itong pagkaka-aresto kay dating Pangulong Duterte?
No. Bakit naman? Dahil consistent naman tayo. Hindi tayo tumutulong sa investigasyon ng ICC. Meron tayong contact sa kanila, natural. Pero no, not on an official level. We didn't help them in any way. The arrest that we did today was in compliance with our commitments to Interpol. It just so happened that came from ICC. But it's not because it came from ICC. It's because it came from Interpol.
Pang-apat pang-apat po na tanong, Mr. President, sinasabi po nila na ito ay political persecution lamang at may kaugnayan din daw sa 2028 elections.
Okay, well, I'm sure sasabihin nila yan. But this case started in 2017 when we were still members of the ICC, and it was during the time of former President Duterte. So I don't see how that can be political persecution on my part, because it was initiated before I even came into the picture. So that would seem. But once again, we have to recognize that, you know, of course, it's natural for people to put lalagyan ng politika, kulay ng politika. Pero sinundan lang natin yung ICC, yung Interpol. Wala tayong, hindi natin kinakausap yung ICC. Marami silang hinihingi sa atin ng mga dokumento, wala kaming binigay. Yun lamang, hindi natin mahindian ng Interpol. Pag sinabi sa atin, tulungan nyo kami, kailangan namin kunin itong taong ito. Dahil, kung maalala ninyo, lahat ng mga tumakas dito sa Pilipinas, kagaya ni Alice Go, kagaya ni Arnie Tevez, kung sino-sino pa, pati naman yung mga human trafficking sa Myanmar, pati sa mga nadadamay. Sinong tumulong sa atin para makita natin yung mga ating kababayan na inaapi at ginagamit sa masamang paraan? Ang Interpol. Kaya naman, dapat naman tayo, pagka sinabi sa atin, tulungan nyo kami sa ganito, tumulong kayo. Kaya naman, ganun ang ginawa natin.
Maraming salamat, Mr. President, sa paglilinaw ninyo. You want to ask another question?
All right, sure.
Sir, there are calls for veto power. There are, in fact, as we speak, protest actions ongoing. Would you like to address the supporters of the former president?
The supporters of the former president? Well, you know, again, the government is just doing its job. Wala namang... It's not because it's one person or another that we do the things that we do. Maybe sa nung nakaraan na mga administrasyon, baka ganun ang ginagawa. Pero para sa akin, hindi naman ganun. Sumusunod tayo sa batas. We are a member of the community of nations. We must live up to our responsibilities, to the commitments that we have made to the community of nations. And that is what's happened here. Politics doesn't enter into it. Bakit? Why that, you know, he's never going to be a candidate for anything. Why go after him? Di ba? At saka 2017 pa ito, wala pa ako. Civilian pa ako nun. So, this is the evolution of his case, and this is where we end up. Yeah. All right.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. Diyan po nagtatapos ang ating press conference. Abangan niyo po yung mga briefings namin sa mga susunod na araw.
All right, we just heard from President Marcos Jr., of course, the much-awaited press conference that everybody was on standby for in Malacanang. President Marcos Jr. Announcing officially and confirming officially that the chartered jet carrying former President Duterte has already taken off from the Ninoy Aquino International Airport and is proceeding to The Hague in the Netherlands, where he will be brought before the International Criminal Court to face the accusation of committing crimes against humanity. President Marcos Jr. explaining that the administration was, of course, obliged to cooperate with Interpol in the same way that the Philippine government could ask for the Interpol's assistance in any future police matters. He explained that the Philippine government received a request from Interpol to enforce the arrest warrant and that his administration complied with it to also live up to the Philippines' commitments to the Interpol. President Marcos also saying that the arrest was proper and correct and disputed allegations that it violated Philippine sovereignty. The president also saying that that this was consistent with his administration's policy in not giving the ICC any help in its investigation on the Duterte war on drugs. He did admit that his administration had some contact with the ICC, but clarified that this was not on any official level to help. He also laughed off accusations that the arrest of former President Duterte was a form of political persecution that was meant to derail any of the 2028 political ambitions of the Duterte clan. He says that, or he points out that this case brought against former President Duterte had started while the Philippines was still a member of the ICC during the Duterte administration. And he says that this could not be considered as political persecution coming from him, since the case against Duterte began even before the Marcos administration started. The president also said that it is only natural that some of his critics will see some ulterior political motive behind the arrest of former President Duterte, but he says that giving the Interpol Philippine cooperation was the same as with the cooperation that we expected as a country from the Interpol in tracking down fugitives like former Negros Congressman Arnie Teves, former Bamban Mayor Alice Go, and human traffickers in Myanmar. He also downplayed calls by Duterte supporters to stage a people power uprising against the government. He says that anything that happened today with the arrest of former President Duterte was not done to target any specific person. He says that this may have been done by previous administrations, but not by his own administration. He also pointed out that former President Duterte
Bye, Digong.
will not be seeking any